Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Early Wednesday morning, National Signing Day. The Tennessee Volunteers land a massive commitment in the transfer portal from one of my favorite cornerbacks that was available. And if you guys have been kind of tuning in the last couple of weeks, J'Mond McCoy has come up as a top target for a lot of programs, and for good reason. This guy was a true freshman last year at Oregon State and played phenomenally good football. So not only are you really excited about the player that you're getting in 2024, but you're excited about the player that you're getting for the future as well. In an era of the transfer portal where a lot of these big names who are going other places are guys with 1 year of eligibility left and then they're off to the NFL. J'Mond McCoy is a guy that you can kind of build your defense around because he has plenty of years of eligibility left. And again, has played at a phenomenal level as a true freshman in the Pac-12, where you saw a lot of good wide receivers, a lot of good quarterbacks, battle-tested cornerback who's young and kind of checks off all of those physical traits that you want in your cornerback. This is a guy that's an immediate impact maker for Tennessee on the defensive side of the football. Really excited to get into him. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. It has been just a blast covering all these transfer portal roster moves. Cannot thank you guys enough for rocking with the boys. Your guys' support has been absolutely amazing the last couple of weeks. Cannot thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into J'Mond McCoy. And again, National Signing Day today. A lot of bullets flying on the high school level. I don't want Tennessee fans to lose sight of the fact that J'Mond McCoy essentially almost a kind of signing day addition, right? This is a guy that's going to be within the program for the next couple of years. And you take a look at what he did as a true freshman at Oregon State. 2 interceptions, 7 passes defended. And the number that sticks out to me the most, he faced 47 targets. And this is a guy that was peppered with targets. He is battle-tested in the Pac-12, only allowed 27 catches, 8 forced incompletions. And you kind of take a look at the athlete coming out of high school. I mean, he was a box checker, right? Really big physical frame that had a track and field background and played a lot on the offensive side of the football. And you look at the ball skills that he had as a true freshman. I mean, it kind of makes a little sense. This was a really good wide receiver at the high school level. So you're telling me when the football's in the air, a guy like J'Mond McCoy, who has all the athleticism to mirror receivers, stay in that hip pocket, was playing the football, had 8 forced incompletions, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions. All of that makes sense. And so you look at this Tennessee defense, and yes, they lost a few guys to the transfer portal in that back end. I think J'Mond McCoy, not only from an eligibility standpoint, from just a pure football standpoint, I think he might be an upgrade to what some of the guys Tennessee lost to the transfer portal this cycle. I'm very excited about J'Mond McCoy. And the question of a Pac-12 player making the transition to the SEC. I mean, this was one of the more sought-after cornerbacks in the portal, right? Texas A&M offered, a plethora of other SEC schools offered, and J'Mond McCoy facing elite offenses in the Pac-12, I thought was really, really good. Now, moving on to kind of evaluating what Tennessee has done in the transfer portal, a little quiet in terms of other programs. I think there was a lot of roster defense for Tennessee. Not only trying to keep guys out of the portal, but more importantly, getting some guys back that are going to be massive additions or massive keeps in terms of heading into 2024. I mean, a lot of programs are looking to add players and make their team better heading into 2024. Another way you can make your team better heading into next season is keeping the guys already on your roster in this program. And a guy like Mincy or Campbell or Mays or Amari Thomas, those guys coming back, I mean, that's good, if not better, than adding quality players in the transfer portal, because all 4 of those guys that I listed are guys that are massive players for Tennessee in the 2024 season. Now, taking a look at some of the additions Tennessee has made in the portal, the first one that I am the biggest fan of is Holden Stays, and this was a position that if Tennessee fans listen to our wish list, so to speak, in terms of Tennessee targets in the transfer portal, the tight end position was position number 1. Needed to add bodies to that tight end room. They go out and add one of the more coveted bodies that was available in the transfer portal, and Holden Stays coming from Notre Dame. mean, in his second year at Notre Dame, 15 catches, 176 yards. The thing that stands out to me the most, 4 touchdowns. I mean, you bring tight ends into your roster to operate in the red zone and make some of those big plays. And a guy like Holden Stays certainly was able to do that. And then you look at kind of improving that back end. A guy like Jacoby Thomas, who is a really interesting, kind of buzzed a little bit of his film, looked at some of the numbers. This is a guy that I think you're excited about the player you get. I think you're more excited about the player you might get in terms of the traits that he has. There's kind of a reason Jacoby Thomas also had a laundry list of Power 5 offers. Yes, he played solid football at Middle Tennessee. I think that the traits that he has, I think he can play even better football. And he's a guy that you get in this program, you get developed. You might be looking at a really quality starter in that back end. And then you add J'Mond McCoy, one of the best cornerbacks that young cornerbacks. And again, it's so rare to see young cornerbacks play at the level Jermod McCoy did. Really, really excited about that one as well. And you start taking a look at what Tennessee's doing in the offseason. I think you're really excited, not necessarily because of the additions in the transfer portal, but keeping a lot of these guys in the program that they wanted. So you look at Tennessee, I think you're really excited. You have a massive signing day coming up, maybe guys like Jordan Seaton flipping. We'll see how that finishes up. We'll recap that later on today, but wanted to hop on, talk a little J'Mond McCoy, who I think is an absolute stud in the back end for the Tennessee Vols, and we talked about it. I mean, Tennessee is closing the gap in the SEC specifically for what they're doing on the defensive side of the football and getting kind of a lockdown cornerback at the boundary. Massive get for the Vols. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.